The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Sourtown Mountains, RiverRun, and more on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth. Welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville, and we'll tell you more about them later on. And later on is when the roundtable will show up. We'll get through and talk about a lot of controversial topics, so don't miss that. But a lot in store for you between now and then, including some preview of what's going on with the RiverRun International Film Festival. Where we want to start, though, is talking about protection and preservation of the Sourtown Mountain Range and all that's in it, and two great individuals are going to help us through with this segment. First of all, on my immediate right, Donna Alexander. She's president of the Friends of Sourtown Mountains, and our good buddy from True Alliant, Marcus Thomas, Director of Community Engagement for True Alliant Federal Credit Union. Good to see both of you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Marcus, I'm going to start with you because a lot of this is tied to the foundation. A lot of people don't know that True Alliant has a foundation. What's the mission of the foundation, and how do you link in with Donna's group?
Yes, so in 2021, the True Alliant established a True Alliant Foundation, and this was established to show our commitment to the community as well as our corporate social responsibility to serving our neighbors. And we operate under the philosophy of the people helping people,
right.
And that's a national philosophy amongst all credit unions. And so we do that in multiple ways. One, by providing employee relief to some of our employees who are experiencing personal hardships, through donations, grants, and scholarships to help support the community and wonderful organizations like Friends of Sourtown.
Right.
And we got connected because we all know about the fire that happened on Pilot Mountain in 2021. Devastating fire. And through the leadership of our president, CEO, Todd Hall, and Atticus Simpson, who's the executive director of the foundation, and all the rest of our senior management team, we decided to come together to support the work that Friends of Sourtown were doing to try to help preserve Pilot Mountain.
All right, well, give us a quick thing, Donna, what the mission of the organization is.
Our mission is to work with the parks. We are really a physical partner with both Hanging Rock and Pilot Mountain State Parks. So we raise funds to provide things for the parks that aren't in the budget, the state budget.
Well, when you say raise money for things for the parks, people know, I think you have Camp Betty Meekum up there, Pilot Mountain, Hanging Rock, all these great things. What would funds go to? What's needed?
Well, educational supplies. We bought an excavator for Pilot Mountain that was $24,000. We're putting a handicap runway down to the lake this year. We're things that just all kinds of things. We have an amazing trail crew that builds trails both at Hanging Rock and Pilot Mountain State Parks. So we're a huge volunteer organization that has very dedicated volunteers that really show up and give their time to the community.
Yeah, now how do the members get involved? I mean, how does somebody know to be able to join this and give their time to it, and how much time do they have to give to it, or what?
Well, you can go to our website, sourtownfriends.org, and the information for joining or donating is there. Our biggest fundraiser is our membership.
Right.
And so we really want people to be members and to be actively involved. So we are having a high five, which is our biggest fundraiser for Hanging Rock on the 15th of April. And it takes 40 volunteers to pull that off. So our members are so dedicated, they really show up for us.
I just think that's great. And then how important is support from True Alliant?
Oh, the license plate project at Pilot Mountain would not have happened without True Alliant.
The license plate project, we have a close-up of that. I'll just hold it there. Excuse me, but that's interesting, because that'll help sort of raise some funds and do that kind of thing. So I just think that's great. Well, look, before we lose time, I want to put this up. Donna mentioned it, sourtownfriends.org, a great website to check out, to learn how to volunteer, learn how to donate, and then also a plug for the True Alliant Foundation, truealliantfcu.org/foundation, and you can learn more about that. To Marcus and your team and Donna and your team, thanks for all you're doing to help the area.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
right.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Need help buying food? Everyone needs help sometimes. Food Nutrition Services may be able to help you buy food and free up your money for other expenses, such as utilities and medicine. To receive F&S assistance, households must meet income limits. You may be able to get assistance even if you own a home, car, land, property, or have a retirement plan or money in the bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina team members can help you with the application process over the phone. To receive help or if you have any questions, call 336-422-7758.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, and let's spend a few minutes talking about different types of therapies: occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, and we have an expert in this field. First-time visitor to the show, Nina Whitley is occupational therapist, and she's manager of inpatient rehab for Northern Rehabilitation, part of the Northern Regional Hospital family, and we welcome you to the show.
Thank you for having me.
First, tell us about, now, where is Northern Rehabilitation? I guess it's near the hospital, but where are you located?
Yes, well, we are inside the hospital, and we also have an outpatient clinic less than 2 blocks away from the hospital.
Now, you have kind of a dual title that I just introduced you by, so what kind of services do you manage? What's your role?
So basically, I started in Northern Regional Hospital in 2005 as a clinician, and then I was promoted to management in 2012.
Now, I know this is going to sound like a stupid question, but I want to throw 3 terms out at you and let you help us determine what the difference is in these. We'll do physical therapy, occupational, and speech. So let's start with physical therapy. Very quickly, what is physical therapy?
Physical therapy is basically a therapy that basically the goal is to get patients up and moving. They focus on the gross movement, lots of injuries, trauma, surgeries.
Coming out after surgery or something?
Absolutely.
You could have a hip surgery, or you could have had an
joint
accident.
replacement, brain injury, spinal cord, anything and everything. Basically, goal is to get them back to function. They focus on moving the body and going.
Then occupational therapy.
Occupationally, we focus on little steps. So basically, we work on the skills that is going to lead you to this big picture. So basically, our goal is to work on strengthening skills and modification techniques to get the patient into performing the activities of daily living.
Right.
So let's just say as a mother or as whatever your job is, you have to learn many steps to get to the big picture.
Yeah, so I mean, you could, like I said, you could be coming off of a surgery. You need physical therapy anyway, but then you say to the therapist, hey, you know, my job is, I'm an auto mechanic. Well, then all of a sudden you've got to be thinking, okay, now how can I?
What the little things will take you to get there, It's not only the body, you know, the movement, but all the skills that you have to learn to get to that end result.
And then speech therapy.
Speech therapy is basically swallowing after strokes, developmental delays. A lot of times when speech impairments are a factor, they will work with after trauma. They work on basically rebuilding their vocal cords and swallowing abilities and all that stuff.
And that can be a tough thing. I know we just referenced people that might have just had surgery or something. They need physical therapy or occupational therapy. Some of that will start in the hospital, and then you'll move and do some at home or go to a center. But with speech therapy, it can be kind of a long process, right?
It is. For all can be long, but definitely that's more complicated and it can take longer. And we'll do that inside the hospital. Of course, if they're admitted to hospital, we'll go work with them in the room daily. If after that, then we can do outpatient.
Right.
Sometimes we can do home health and different settings that we can cover.
Who or what led you to a career in healthcare?
As a child, I've always was fascinated by hospitals. When I would watch movies and TV shows, I thought it was just cool. I've always thought it was amazing what it actually takes to take care of a patient inside the hospital. And as I got older, I got interested in rehab field. And when I went to college, sat with an advisor, and she started telling me about OT, and basically just got my attention. And here I am, 23 years later.
Wow, you don't even look like you're 23.
I'll take it.
All right, no, I appreciate that. Up on the screen, a couple things. You can call 719-7129, I believe is the number for an appointment. Physicaltherapymontairy.com is the website we have up on screen that's specifically for Nina's office. And also the general website for Northern is choosenorthern.org, and we hope you will check out those websites. Nina, thanks for all the help you give to people.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
Baby, watch me fly. Baby, watch me soar. Baby, watch me fly. I will love
Fly easy, fly PTI.
Back now on Triad Today, and there's an organization, a company, Duke Energy, that helps a lot of folks who are low-income individuals and families, and we're going to talk about one of those ways right now. A good friend of ours has been on the show many times before, Hank Kenning, Manager of Local Government Community Relations for Duke Energy, and Hank's special guest is Randy Honeycutt. He's Senior Solutions Developer for Duke Energy. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hank, let me start with you. We did talk about, you and I and Jimmy, a lot of us have talked about in the past, some of the programs that are out there to help low-income families and individuals with their energy needs. Now, remind us what that initiative is all about in general, and then how it's going to tie into this pilot program I'm going to talk to Randy about.
Sure, and again, thanks for having us, Jim. So the past few shows that we've had have really focused on affordability for our customers. A few shows ago, we had Kanisha Barnes, who was our expert who dealt with the low-income affordability collaborative that we talked about at a high level, and we discussed that there be certain products coming out of that and programs for low-income individuals and our ratepayers who may be struggling with some of their bills. And I also spoke about our carbon plan and our initiatives to move forward with that and how we also want to help folks with their affordability needs and so forth. And so we wanted to have Randy join us today. He's heading up a pilot program that's going to help our customers to further combat their energy efficiency issues and high costs and bills and so forth. So he's going to talk more in detail about how we're doing that and how that ties in with the whole affordability collaborative.
Well, there's your introduction, Randy. So if you don't say anything, we're in trouble. No, just seriously, tell us about this program. What's it all about?
Well, as Kanisha mentioned the last time she was here, this was a pilot that we had filed. Well, it just got approved in February, but in the meantime, we've been working to get this thing together. And it focuses specifically on Duke Energy customers in Forsyth, Guilford, and Mecklenburg.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is hit, exactly as Hank said, those folks that have high energy burden, high electrical bills, but may not be able to do the EE measures to fix it up. We're partnering with the cities and the counties, and that's what's really good. We met with Guilford and Greensboro yesterday, met with Forsyth and Winston-Salem yesterday also.
Right.
And what we're doing is we're trying to go into these homes, and when we find these homes that need energy efficiency, a lot of times there's other things that need to be fixed. Not necessarily connected to energy efficiency, but enable it.
Yeah.
And so we're working with them to help partner. As they solve one part of the problem, we're going to solve the other part.
I want to circle back to fixing things for a second. That's a good point that I want to ask about. But very quickly, let me circle back and just ask, who would be eligible and not eligible, for this thing? Because they'll hear you talking about the areas that you're going into. Who's eligible?
So what it is designed to go after folks that exhibit energy that is greater than 17,800 kWh annually, which is on their bill, easy to find, and also who are 200% at or below 200% of poverty level. And there's several programs that they could already be a part of.
Right.
And just showing us their approval letter for those programs gets them qualified into it. So those are the two things that we're going after.
All right, now let's now circle back to the point you made about fixing things up. Suppose somebody said, hey, yeah, okay, this is great, I'm going to participate, I'm eligible. Then you guys get in there and say, well, wait a minute, we can't really start from Jump Street. You've got some things that need to be fixed here. Does that delay the process, or how do you get it going?
So what we're planning to do is partner with the cities and the counties and be able to refer them over and let the cities and counties come in, do their normal process, fix those things, and then we're going to come in behind them and do these energy efficiency.
Give me an example of something that might have to be fixed before you can really make this work.
Well, so imagine that you go into and do an audit and they need insulation in the attic. Well, what if the roof is bad and it's leaking? Well, it would be pointless for us to put insulation in there for a leaking roof.
Oh,
and so,
gotcha.
so that's a good example of one. Or if we replace the HVAC unit for them, which is one of the options, and they've got boarded up windows or windows that need to be replaced. We can't replace the windows, but that might be something that we could work with the cities and counties to get that taken care of.
You have to do the replacements and repairs on the front end, and then you really do your implementation. Once it starts, how is this going to be implemented? How do you think it's going to go?
Well, so our goal is we're going to try to pilot. This is a pilot, and that was one of the agreements. And we're going to try to go after 1,000 customers over those 3 counties. So as many as we can get in throughout there to get a feel for this. So that's our launch. Going to go out through there and see what we learn. This is a common phrase we say. It's a pilot. So we're here to learn, and we're hoping that this thing works out well, and then we can take it broader.
Then it can go everywhere. Hank, very quickly before time runs out, this is a big benefit to customers everywhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've talked about in other shows that often the folks on the lower end of the income spectrum, they live in older homes, leakier homes, and so they might have higher energy bills than folks who live in newer homes that might even be double the square footage. So they really need the assistance, and so we really are making a concerted effort to try to help them out.
And it's a great effort. Up on the screen, a couple things. Duke-energy.com/customer-service. That will get you to the information there, and also the general website is duke-energy.com. I just think this is a great program, guys. Just a pat on the back for all you're doing. Randy, thanks for explaining it to us, and keep us updated how it's going, will you?
I'd love to.
Right, thanks.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Everyone could use a little help with their bills, especially these days. At Duke Energy, we're offering easy ways to help keep your energy bills more manageable. With programs that allow you to pay the same amount each month or pay in installments over several months. Plus, special financial assistance from the Share the Light Fund for those facing hardships. We're Duke Energy, and we're here to help you.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today. I'm excited about talking with this great guy. He comes on every once in a while and not often enough. My good friend, Rob Davis, who's Executive Director of RiverRun International Film Festival. It is that time of year again. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jim. It's always a pleasure to be on Triad Today.
And it's, remind folks who maybe just moved in the area that say, hey, what is this all about? How would you describe the festival?
I would describe the festival as truly one of the major cultural events of the entire region. We are a 10-day film festival, and we are Academy Award qualifying in 2 categories, documentary short film and animated short film. So we are one of the top film festivals around, and it's great that it happens right here in the Triad.
And this is a special year for you, right?
It is. You know, Jim, we started out as a very small film festival, and it was just a weekend event.
Right.
And over the last quarter of a century, we have grown to where we are today, and so this is our 25th anniversary, and we are just thrilled about that.
Yeah, I just think, in the old days, it was like, well, I think there's this film festival in Durham, but what's this RiverRun thing? And now RiverRun is the big deal, and a lot of it attributed to you for the growth they've had. What are some of the special films that people can see this year?
Well, we have quite a few of those. You know, because RiverRun is positioned in between Sundance and Tribeca, we don't always get a lot of world premieres, but we have several world premieres this year, and one of them is a lovely film called The Magic Hours, and that was the last film that Peter Fonda ever appeared in, and he's also the executive producer of it, so that's a terrific film. Another one that's just so terrific is our closing night film. It's called Ride Above, and it's set on a French horse farm. And so a horse and a baby are born in the same stall on the same night.
Wow.
And the film follows them for 19 years. Now, if you think about that, it's a fictional story.
Does the baby clean up? Does the baby clean up after the horse?
Well, but you've got to have an actress playing the young woman at elementary school, middle school, high school, and the audience has to believe it's the same young woman growing up. And the director did an exceptional job with the star.
I want to mention our good buddy Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough, because you have a documentary about him too.
We do. Last year we had a group of terrific local films within North Carolina stories, so we carved out a separate section. Well, we've done that again, and we have a very personal story from Sheriff Kimbrough in a film that was done by a UNCSA student, and it's just a remarkable film. It's called In Her Absence. It plays as part of the North Carolina Shorts Winston Stories segment. It also includes a film about a cancer survivor, Keith Vest, who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he battled himself back with his bicycle. That's in that same block. And then the third film is about one of the only black NASCAR drivers who's a student at Winston-Salem State.
Absolutely. Very quickly, we're almost out of time. Who's the big special guest coming?
We've got two. Karen Allen, we're going to show her new film, which is in the festival, as well as Starman, and Tom Schulman, Oscar winner for Dead Poets Society, and he's got a terrific new film in the festival called Double Down South.
All right, up on screen, riverrunfilm.com. You can find out all about it. It runs from April 13th to April 22nd, and you can find out if there's any free films. I know there are a few of those.
Absolutely.
You can find out the venues from the website. Please navigate that. Rob, if I ever make a documentary about you, will you show it at the festival?
Absolutely. Centerpiece film.
That's right. You'll be the special guest. No, thanks for all you do for the community, and this is going to be exciting. Thanks, Rob.
Well, thank you, and thanks for letting us share information on your broadcast.
All right, and up on screen, I also want to get a quick plug to visit Winston-Salem. The website is on screen to the good folks, Marquita and everybody out there, Rich, for all the great work they do in tourism. We'll be right back after this.
What are you waiting for? Your future awaits at Guilford Technical Community College. Make amazing happen.
Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to our good friends here at the Senior Botanical Garden. Check out the website, check out the garden, lots to see here. You can rent the facility, you can come here to the gift shop. This is where you buy gifts for your loved ones. Like that's when I buy stuff for Keith. All right, on my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman in his Donald Ross type golf outfit, very sharp.
Masters Week.
Yeah, Masters Week. Don Martin, chairman of Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. Keith Cranberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. All right, guys, on a serious topic, I'm not going to go in a lot of detail about, we had the horrible massacre shooting in Nashville school there. There was a shooting incident at Forsyth Tech. I hate to keep asking this question, but are we ever going to get to the point where not just a couple of schools, whenever they feel like it, every public school has metal detectors at the main entrances, extra SROs, electronically locking doors? Or are we just going to accept the massacres? Oh,
Jim, here's how I feel about it. If you're going to do that, which is not a bad idea, it'll probably come to that, but you got to do theaters and nightclubs and concerts and churches and every place a shooter is possible. We're skirting a real issue, which is guns.
Yeah.
Too many guns in the hands of the wrong people.
Don.
I used to be a proponent of never having metal detectors.
That's right.
However, I must admit, in fact, I know that every school in Forsyth, I think they have 2 wands, and I'm a little more on the side of, I think, technology. If you go over to Tanger Center in Greensboro, you just walk through this. It's a very simple issue, and it's not a big fancy thing,
right.
Kind of deal. And I think you could almost put those on front doors as a part of school buildings and put them in school buses.
Keith,
I think putting them in school buses and stuff. Then you have to have some security there to man the school buses and man these things. It's going to be a very difficult thing to do. But I think the issue is guns. Assault weapons specifically.
All right. This week, former President Donald Trump was indicted on 34 counts of business fraud. I don't want to go into a lot of this, but I just want to point out that he carried North Carolina in 2016 and 2020. So my question is, would North Carolina voters vote for a convicted felon if it came to that? Ogie.
Am I wrong? You can't run for president if you're a convicted felon.
Yes, you can.
You can't.
You can.
Oh, that's bad news.
Yeah.
Well, I still think North Carolina would not. Trump wouldn't carry North Carolina again.
All right, John.
He'd get a lot of votes, but I don't think he would. I don't think he would carry it either.
Keith.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with both of them. I think that it's according on how they frame this, and then I know this isn't the only issue he's dealing with, but if they frame it right, I think he could win North Carolina.
All right, several state legislatures are pushing to increase minimum wage from $15 per hour to $20 per hour. Do you think North Carolina will adopt a $20 minimum wage anytime soon, Ogie?
No, it took them forever to get to $15. It'll take another 10 years to get to 20.
Dr. Martin?
No.
Not in the future?
Not in the future.
No, absolutely not.
According to a recent survey, 1/3 of Americans now identify as either atheist or agnostic. Now, Bill Maher, the comedian, joked last week about how, hey, you've got religious holidays, Easter and Thanksgiving, Christmas, all this. You should have a holiday for atheists. And they made a joke out of it. But my serious question is, guys, if that many people, if 1/3 of the population are atheists, should we have a designated national holiday for atheists? Ogie.
That's not necessary. I mean, the holidays are associated with an event, you know, birth of Christ. Or what. You're going to have National Zoroaster Day or National Buddha Day or National Rastafarian Day. That's just not necessary.
Don, what do you think?
I'm agreeing with Ogie a lot today, but yes, I mean, you usually have a purpose for the day. You're celebrating something, you're honoring someone, or it is a ceremonial special day for groups, and I think there's no ceremony.
Keith, special day for atheists?
Well, you know, there's a lot of atheists until something happens to them, and then they start praying to God.
That's right. That's right. We have a flood.
There's a day for them.
That's right.
Else.
We need a prayer for atheist day to God, because that's what happens.
That's right. I don't believe in God, but now my house is flooded.
That's right.
Dear
Please,
God,
God,
please,
help me out, please.
A Tallahassee public school principal was recently forced to resign because she showed her class of first graders a photo of Michelangelo's classic statue of David. The school board said the statue is pornographic because David's genitalia are not covered. Guys, this is so stupid. You'd think it's not true, but it's a true story. So I guess my question has to be, are naked statues of any kind appropriate for elementary school students to view? Ogie.
It reminded me of a Beavis and Butthead episode, you know.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah.
No, it's art. Come on, let's figure this thing out. It's art. You know, women's breasts and genitalia are people.
On a statue or a painting. Don, as a lifetime educator, what do you think?
Well, I think curriculum usually has to be developmentally appropriate. In other words, is the maturity of the child and so forth sort of consistent? And I think in elementary school, that's probably, you won't find, you know, studying the human art form in the art curriculum.
Anyway.
So I think probably no until they're more mature, but it's not pornographic and the principal shouldn't have been fired.
Keith.
I think they should to talk to them about the history of it and let them understand the history, but I don't think it should be, they should be fired at all.
All right, and finally, guys, speaking of nudity, according to a report in the New York Times, the latest trend in fine dining is something called, quote, naked dinner parties, unquote. Guys, have you ever, or would you ever, attend a naked dinner party? Ogie.
I wouldn't do it now, probably, but back in the day, back in the hippie era,
you would have tried it.
It was not that unusual.
Yeah, Don.
Well, you don't want folks to get, you know, sort of indigestion, so perhaps I'd say no.
Yeah. Well, Don, you have to go to a lot of events, though. It'd be hard to turn down. Keith, have you ever been to a naked dinner, or would you go to a naked dinner?
I haven't been to a naked dinner, but if, you know, I think that most people will want to see that, you know, but.
Because of you?
Because of me, but you know, I just want to keep all of that covered. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that.
No, I don't know what you mean. Well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this, a researcher in Israel has discovered that plants make sounds and have their own language. She discovered this by putting a high-frequency microphone at night when the plants were sleeping, and then when she decoded the message of what they were saying, it says, hey, get these microphones out of here. We're trying to sleep. Plants are trying to sleep. For all of us here, Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.